All right, folks, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, I guess, depending on where you are joining us from around the world. Welcome to Top Gun Options after the closing bell, trading the Death Star. I wasn't going to do one of these for a while, but after what happened to some of the tech stocks with Bloody Monday this week, I definitely thought it would be time to share our newest live trade briefing service that we call Trading the Death Star. Everybody remembers what happened to the Death Star, right? Well, actually, you know what? Before we get airborne, just a quick remembrance of what's going on today. 75 years ago today, 160,000 allied United States, British, and Canadian forces stormed the beaches of France, parachuted behind German lines, and just one of the biggest military operations known to man up until that point. Absolutely just stunning. You know, you look at this picture, 18, 19-year-old kids from all across America in Higgins boats as that ramp dropped down, withering machine gun fire, just getting cut down, just looking at these faces and these men, looking at the folks on the beach that are dead in front of them. The first wave at Omaha was just absolutely horrific. So, you know, 75 years ago, and the last of that greatest generation seems to be fading away. But we shall never forget their sacrifice. It really makes me wonder if we have 18 and 19-year-olds in this country who would do the same today. It really makes me wonder. A nation or, you know, a generation raised to not respect its country, its flag, its values will never defend it. Fortunately, my oldest son, Matthew, turned 19. He's going to Norwich University up in Vermont, the military college. He wants to be a Marine aviator. So, and my son, Jack, wants to go in the Navy as well. So definitely, you know, something to think about today is just the sacrifice that these guys made. Canadians, Brits, and Americans. So meant to lead with that. Never forgotten. Okay, let's talk about trading the Death Star. If you don't get the reference, you might be too old. It's Star Wars, right? The Death Star fully operational, and then what happened? Man, had a little bit of a weakness. The rebels exploited it. Luke Skywalker, like shooting wombats, blew it up. But as we found out in the next movie, he really didn't blow it up, and they were rebuilding it. So that's kind of what happened this week. Very appropriate metaphor for what happened this week. All right, welcome aboard. Let's go ahead and get airborne. Got a lot of people in the room. We have nearly 1,000 people registered for this event because a lot of my members have been asking for this, focusing one live trading service on one name. One name. That doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. Let me ask you a question first before we get started. I want to poll you guys. All right. Which fighter aircraft would you rather fly? What does it have to do with trading? Everything. You ready? Because trading is a form of combat, folks. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. Why wouldn't you use the same methodologies that we use to fight and win in combat in your trading? Which fighter would you rather fly? This one? Take a look at that. Approximately 300 switches and dials in that cockpit. 300. Or, so that's A, or B, 2 flat panel displays. Let me go back to that one. F4 Phantom. That is an F4 Phantom, beautiful aircraft, but when it sat on the ramp, it would leak hydraulic fluid, fuel. The pilot had to look at or this. 2 flat panel displays. This is the Joint Strike Fighter, right? So let's see. I'm gonna make that. Here's the poll. F4 Phantom. Let's see what you all have to say. Which fight launched that? F4 Phantom or the F-35? Which one would you rather fly if you were going to go into combat? Steve, which one goes faster? The F-35, but it's top secret. Exactly, I'm a old man. F-18, I like that answer. We'll get to that. All right, everybody voting? Vote away. I love the answers. Almost half of you voted. About 10 more seconds because we got to get airborne. We have a lot of stuff to do. I got to take a look at the futures market here in a little bit. All right, here we go. I'm going to close it. About half of you voted. Overwhelmingly, what was the answer? Look at that. 83% said the F-35 Lightning. Look at that. Why? Folks, Trading can be considered complex, right? Combat can be considered complex. How do you battle complexity with simplicity? Ladies and gentlemen, the F-35 Lightning, that aircraft right there, it actually limits the amount of information it displays to the pilot. It says, you know what, at this point in time in the flight, he doesn't need to know all these things, so I'm going to keep this to myself. It only displays the critical information that the pilot needs at that time during the flight, unlike the F-4 Phantom, right? So, which one would you rather fly? That's the answer. What did I fly? I flew the greatest jet ever made on God's green earth, the FA-18 Hornet, for about 15 years for the United States Navy. Graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, which many of you know is Top Gun, and was also a bad guy pilot. So at Top Gun, I was an adversary. Jets were painted like Russian MiGs, and we flew bad guy tactics against good guys. Got to fly in a bad guy jet over Pakistan. Flew with the Blue Angels when my buddy was on the team. Was an LSO, a landing signal officer. When I wasn't flying, I was out on the back of the boat, day or night, bad weather, helping my fellow aviators get aboard the ship. And I did also 2 combat deployments. Flew 44 combat sorties over southern Iraq, which has been in the news a lot lately. Iraq, no, this body of water right here underneath my nose. So here's Kuwait. There's Iraq, and right all back there is Iran. Okay, the USS Abraham Lincoln, which I did a deployment on, is sitting outside the Strait of Hormuz. A lot of tension over there. That's going to come to a head, which we're going to have to keep an eye on as it impacts the market. So actually, an old Hornet friend of mine, Putnam Brown, Captain Putnam Brown, is the commanding officer of the Abraham Lincoln. Funny that I went from being a 27-year-old kid on the Lincoln to now my buddy's the skipper of the boat. So what's this have to do with trading? Absolutely everything, folks. You don't join the Navy to get rich. You join the Navy to serve your country, serve your fellow Americans. But I was always interested in finance, always looking to make a little bit more money or invest and do some stuff. And as I was going through flight training and as a young Navy fighter pilot and an officer, I started applying everything I learned flying a fighter jet, having a strategy, implementing tactics, being disciplined, managing risk, contingency planning. Doing all of those things, I'm like, wait a minute, you know what? If I apply this to my trading, guess what? It worked incredibly well. Eventually, I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms in the world, headquartered right here at the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle. That's the CBOT, the Chicago Board of Trade, and that was our trading firm right there. These big, beautiful windows. Beautiful trading firm, great people, great Americans. I went from being little old lowly retail trader to being the managing director of strategy for a $2.5 billion options firm. When I was there, I helped build a hedge fund. I helped build the retail brokerage known as Options House. And I also, during my spare time, was the founder and CEO of the Options News Network, ONN.TV. Had an absolute blast doing that. I hosted about 3 or 4 of the shows, had an absolute blast, and it was fun. I tell people all the time that I did feel like Valentine in Trading Places, right? Little old lowly Eddie Murphy going where the smart money was. Smart money ain't necessarily that smart, folks. They put their pants, their skirts on the same way you do every day. And I got there and I found out that just as smart, if not smarter, than the so-called smart money. No offense to anybody from Chicago. You can keep it 9 months out of the year. It's brutal. I'm a beach guy. I'm a Navy guy. I need ocean. I need water. I need warmth. So moved down, left Chicago 2010-ish. We've been in business. Top Gun Options. We are going on our 10th year anniversary. Financial training, options training. There ain't no such thing as options education. Well, there is options education or financial education, and it's a stupid term to use. I'm going to steal half a Calvin Coolidge quote. The world is full of educated derelicts. Plumbers are trained, fighter pilots are trained, doctors are trained. Education? Read a book, man. Look at our financial or our educational institutions today. Not doing so hot, man. Actually doing the exact. Training gives you a skill, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to teach you how to trade in one name and one name only, okay? Now, a lot of you might be sitting there going, hey, man, you're going against every Wall Street-ism I've ever heard. You have to diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. As Nouriel Roubini said recently, he's like, that's the dumbest stuff I've ever heard. Depends on the basket, and it depends on the stock, right? So here's what we're going to talk about. Trading in one name only, essentially being a market maker. You guys know what market makers are, right? A market maker in Apple, Amazon. They trade one stock. I have a buddy who's an Apple market maker. He doesn't even know a stock market exists. That is his stock market, right? So there are risks, however, to trading in one name. What are some risks of trading a single stock, and that's it in your portfolio? Well, here we go. Bear Stearns, example A. Does everybody remember in the financial crisis, Jim Cramer? First of all, if you take stock advice from a guy that uses a cowbell and an air horn, you deserve to lose every penny, period. Who was it? There was a University of Pennsylvania. Somebody followed his portfolios for 3 years and like 76% losers. But anyway, Jim Cramer took his shoe off like Khrushchev, pounded on the table and said, what? This is a steal at $70. You're an idiot if you don't get into Bear Stearns. 2 days later, it was at zero. From 70 to zero. Bear Stearns. Lehman Brothers. But these were both what? Financial companies. They didn't own anything, folks. They owned air. Options. They're pieces of paper. They're contracts, right? Yeah, so well, somebody already beat me to it. How about this one? Or this one? Pets.com, Enron. So companies can go to zero, folks. Pets.com owned nothing. Enron owned nothing. It was a middleman shuffling around electricity and a criminal organization. So stocks absolutely can go to zero. So the Death Star that we're going to talk about is Amazon. Can Amazon go to zero? Absolutely. Will it? No, not in my lifetime unless there's a nuclear strike. And we're going to talk about why, right? So the biggest risk to trading Amazon right now is this dude. Unless you've been in deep space since Monday, you don't know what happened. The alphabet soup on Monday came out. It was leaked that the DOJ, FTC are starting to poke around tech companies. It's about time. Now, we'll talk about, over beer about my libertarian streak about how I think that's completely wrong. But at the end of the day, I also think it's right. However, DOJ, Department of Justice, criminal, looks at bad stuff. They're looking at Google and Facebook. Who's looking at Amazon? FTC, civil. FTC can go, you need to change the way you do business or we're going to fine you. DOJ can go, somebody's going to jail or you're engaging in criminal activities. Way, way different. What is happening in the next 2 years, ladies and gentlemen? An election. Google and the one thing this week, or that I can think of recently that Washington politicians can agree on is what? These guys need to be regulated, Google and Facebook. Jerry Nadler and whoever the Republican is actually agreed. They're going to haul these guys up. Does anybody remember seeing Jeff Bezos hauled up in front of Congress? What? Jeff Bezos has been as quiet as a church mouse. Yes, he owns the Washington Post. And yes, they're not friendly to this guy. But Jeff Bezos, as Mark Zuckerberg, who sat there like Data from Star Trek, just robotic answers and not even a shred of human emotion. I think he is a cyborg. And Google executives getting torn apart. So in the next 2 years, Facebook and Google run incredible headline risk. Amazon's going to fly right underneath the radar, in my opinion. Somebody asked about the danger of breaking up Amazon. Microsoft, Standard Oil, IBM, the Bells. How many years did it take for them to even get to court? What was it, 7 years for 10 years, I think. I think it was like a decade. Nothing is going to happen to Amazon for years when it comes to the FTC, period. So is there a danger in them breaking up Amazon? Yeah, but it ain't going to be for the next 5-10 years, and they're not going to break up Amazon. I'm guaranteeing that. So there's the risks. I always start with the bad. Before I go on a mission, I do what? What are the threats? What can kill me? What's going to reach out and touch me and make it a bad day? Those are some of the potential risks of trading one name known as Amazon. But what are some of the benefits? The first one should be obvious, folks. You trade the same name and potentially profit no matter which direction it goes. Amazon getting hammered, get bearish on it. Amazon's trading sideways, iron condors. Amazon's going up, get bullish on it. Trade one name. What's that force you to do? You stay focused on news that impacts what? That, Amazon. I have a plastic surgeon buddy of mine down here in Boca Raton. I do coaching with him. First time we met, he opened his laptop, showed me his brokerage account. I about fell out of my chair. 33 positions. The guy works 8-10 hours a day, surgery, does office visits. I do this for a living, and I almost fell out of my chair. He's like, well, I don't even know what that. When did I get into that one? I don't remember. I don't even know what that stock. I'm like, he had to give me some, Valium or something like that. I was shocked. Folks, if you're a retail trader and you're trading more than 5, 7, 10 positions, you're nuts. You can't monitor all the, when you think about it, research analyst, when I was at that trading firm in Chicago, somebody owned that name. So how can you, as a retail investor, be scanning all sorts? You can't. I'm telling you, you can't. I've been you. I've been a retail trader and then went to the big leagues, and now I'm reporting back, so to speak. You become an expert on that name, reducing what? Time spent on other positions. I showed you that F-35 cockpit. The cockpit, the machine shows the pilot only what he needs to know at that time, not the 300 dials and switches in the F-4 Phantom. Just what is, you're focused, absolutely laser focused on the mission at hand. So those are the main benefits of trading a single stock. So this one or this one? I think we know the answer. Okay. Now, in this service, and we're going to go over to my brokerage account in a second and start poking around and looking at trades, we also trade the XLY. Okay, well, now you confused me with, I thought it was solo Amazon. It is. But guess what, folks? In order to establish one contract in Amazon out into the future, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, it might be about $18,000, $19,000 for one contract. But guess what? When you start trading, selling one call against it, maybe $2,000 every Friday, the numbers can be phenomenal. But here's what we do as a good proxy. In this service, we also trade the XLY, which is the Consumer Discretionary ETF. Take a look at your screen. What is the number one holding in the XLY? Amazon, baby. So the XLY is a good proxy for Amazon. So we trade both in this service. Big Amazon, little XLY, 25%. So if you're warming up to the fact that you should only trade one name, great. If you're still sitting there going, holy crap, I need to diversify, that's nuts. Look at the screen. Then just trade the XLY. It's got 20 other good names in here. Look at some of the other solid names. Home Depot, Mickey D's, Nike, Starbucks, Lowe's, Booking, TJX, General Motors, Target. There's your diversification if you're still freaked out. An ETF, by in and of itself, is diversified. Can the XLY go to zero? No, it's physically impossible unless every company on that list goes to zero, right? So we also trade the XLY. So what are the tactics that we employ? And again, folks, I'm going to remind you there is no such thing as an options strategy. That's the wrong word to use. I love going to conferences and hearing guys like, well, my favorite option strategy is this. I'm like, that's the most ridiculous term to use. A strategy when you're talking about trading, folks, is what? Saving for college, saving for retirement, short-term income generation, buying a boat in 6 months. Those are strategies. Win the war on terror, defeat ISIS, strategy, tactic. Go take Mosul. Don't let anybody out of there alive, ISIS-wise. Tactic, butterfly, condor, short call. So don't confuse those terms. We trade tactics, not strategies. What do? In this service, and I'm going to show you one today, we establish what we call a base position. It's either synthetic stock or a long call diagonal. Don't know what those tactics are? You're going to learn them. I'm going to teach you. Synthetic stock and a long call diagonal, we can hop in our time machine and fly all the way out to, in Amazon's case, we can fly all the way out. We can hop in that F-35, go to speed of light, and go out to June of 2021 and get bullish on it. We can go out 2 years in time and get bullish on Amazon. For XLY, hop in the F-35, we can go out to January of 2021 and get bullish. So those are going to be the base positions, so to speak. And then what do we trade? Well, if Amazon's going up, we trade bullish spreads with it. Amazon's going down, we trade bearish spreads. And we can also sell upside front month calls against it. We sold the 1732.5s on Monday, potentially bringing in $700 by tomorrow. $700 in 4 days. Sweet. Amazon starts moving sideways, or XLY's moving sideways. We trade what is called an iron condor. It's a range-bound tactic. If something settles into a range, so it makes sense, right? You could potentially be a market maker in one name. All you're looking at is Amazon news. And for a good while there, folks, for years, Amazon ignored the overall gyrations of the market. Amazon has its own VIX, folks. Amazon has its own volatility index. And up until the Fed, October 3rd, decided to destroy capitalism, and now that they're back into helping capitalism, Amazon it's been ignoring this trade war stuff too. Amazon could care less about a trade war. You know what they did? They pulled out of China last month. They said, you know what? Let Alibaba and whatever let JD and Alibaba have China. Where did Amazon shift their fire to? when they left China? India. So I love Jeff Bezos thinking like, you know what? I don't want to be number 3 here. So let's go take India, and I guarantee you Amazon someday reattacks into China. Okay, so now let's take a look at, I want to give you some intelligence before we go and look at establishing base positions. Let's take a look at this. Some recent Amazon headlines. This one cracks me up. What happened after Amazon earnings? Everybody know who Warren Buffett is? Warren Buffett, in an interview after Amazon earnings came out, I was an idiot for not buying Amazon shares sooner. When Warren Buffett calls himself an idiot for not buying something, he's a smart dude, very smart guy. I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but I agree with him here. We've been trading Amazon at TGO for 10 years, man, since day one. What did he do after he called himself an idiot? $900 million bet, almost like Dr. Evil. $900 million bet on Amazon. Guess where he did it too? So if you're sitting here like, oh man, Amazon's, I think he did it right about here, and Amazon's down here. So I guarantee you the next time we see Warren Buffett's, was it 13Q? He's most likely adding to Amazon on this pullback. So this is a gift here. Now, let's talk about some absolute innovations. Years ago, I think it was what, four years ago, I was one of the first people to break this. I flew for FedEx for 10 months, hated it. I still got a ton of buddies at FedEx. I'm wired into the airline and cargo industry. What did I hear first? Dude, check this out. Buddy of mine works at least, Amazon just leased 5 aircraft. I'm like, he's going to build his own FedEx and UPS. You're crazy. Guess what he's doing, folks? He's building his own FedEx and UPS. Ever hear of Amazon Air? Matter of fact, they lost a 767 crash in Houston a couple months ago. Anyway, will Amazon put UPS out of business? This is 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago when Donald Trump picked up his cell phone and started bashing Jeff Bezos right in here? Bashing Jeff Bezos and Amazon. It's destroying the postal service. They're getting cut rates, and this is ridiculous. What did Jeff Bezos do? He didn't say a word. He ain't Mark Zuckerberg and Tim Cook, who are snipping at each other. It's comical. What did Jeff Bezos do? He probably nodded his head and said, you know what? We're going to build our own, which is what he's doing. They're building a hub right up the road here in Lakeland, Florida. They're building a hub in Louisville, or I think it's enough on that. But check this out. The best Amazon employee can package 200 things in an hour. You ready for this? Guess what they came out with? This carton wrap pack machine, what it can do 600 to 700 boxes in an hour. Let me say this again. Best human, 200 in an hour. This new technology, 600 to 700. What happens? Me, if I were Jeff Bezos, fire everybody and put in these machines. Now, as an American, that kind of sucks. As Gordon Gekko from Wall Street, I think that's phenomenal. Do it. But guess what? Here's the smarter thing that he did. So Amazon said, hey, guys, yeah, we don't need you anymore. But I'll tell you what, we're going to give you a $10,000 bonus and 3-month salary. Whoa, seriously? I'll take that. Here's what you have to do. Go out to your car in the parking lot, put an Amazon Prime logo on it, and start delivering packages for us. Let me say that again. He's turning all the people that he doesn't need, he's replacing them with machines and making them deliver packages. Guess what's going to happen in about 2 to 3 years? He's going to get rid of those people. So he got rid of them in the factory, made them drive their cars around to deliver packages, and now he's going to get rid of them in a couple of years. Look at what's happening. Amazon came out Wednesday afternoon and said, we have drones that will be making deliveries in months. So I predict in about a year to 2 years, you're going to get a text that says your Amazon package is here. You're going to go out. It's going to be a driverless van. You enter like a pin that they send you on the thing. The door opens. You take your package out. And there ain't going to be anybody driving it, folks. This thing is absolutely a behemoth. It's in healthcare. Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, Warren Buffett, and him got together. They're starting to make an inroad into healthcare. Whole Foods. You name Amazon Web Services, folks. wasn't even thought to be a profit center in the past. $57 million, whatever it was, North America alone profits. Google, in their last earnings report, said, yeah, we're taking a little bit of a hit in our search and in our ads. They didn't mention a name. It's Amazon, folks. Amazon is getting into the online advertisement, going after Google and going after Facebook. Folks, this is why I call it the Death Star. It eats everything. Amazon Prime Day is coming up Monday, July 15th. Every year, this Amazon Prime Day seems to get bigger and they seem to make more money. Okay, so not going to say it anymore. I can keep going for about a half an hour about all the bullishness and why I would just trade in Amazon, because in and of itself, it's diversified. It's got air. It's got ground. He really has taken the, who was it, Carnegie? Who was the guy that said, or no, the oil guy? He said he's watching all the oil come out of his wells. And he's like, wow, I'm rich. Then he sees them put into a truck, sees the truck drive over to the railroad and the railroad pull away. What did he say? He's like, well, that's stupid. I'm going to buy those trucks and I'm going to buy the railroad. I own all of it, the means of production. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. Doesn't give a dividend back. Why? I think he was quoted as saying, if we ever give a dividend, we failed. He doesn't want to return money to their shareholders. He doesn't even want to make a profit. He wants to take every penny they make and reinvest it and go do something else and buy something else. Okay? So there you go. There's Amazon in a nutshell and why I'm bullish. Again, bearish on FTC investigation. Folks, even if it was the quickest FTC poke around, it's Amazon, folks. It's physically going to take years to go look at stuff. Google and Facebook, they don't own anything, folks. Think about Amazon. I did consulting, 2-3 years ago down in Miami for an Amazon fulfillment center. Amazon owns stuff, folks. They own warehouses, factories. They got drones. They got Amazon Air. They have real estate where they're building hubs. They own stuff. Facebook, what's it own? What's it do? I get that it's the world's 4th largest country. It doesn't own stuff. There ain't no brick and mortar with Facebook. Maybe they own their building in wherever. Same thing with Google. They don't own stuff. But again, the risk, there is obviously risk with Amazon. So if you're so inclined, I don't know about that. Look at the XLY. Let's overlay the two charts. Let's compare. Let's take a look at it here. Take a look at XLY versus Amazon. So there you go. There's Amazon and there's the XLY. So if you could just slide these down, they've more or less follow each other. When you're exactly, William, that's exactly right. Amazon equals vertical integration and conglomerate. Now here's what's interesting is the whole, is it a monopoly and stuff like that? A lot of stuff that they do, other people are doing. Google can, in their DOJ investigation, can anybody tell me why Google, one of its main corporate saying was do no evil, and then they removed that? They actually took it down from their wall too. About a year ago, Google said what? We're not renewing this Pentagon contract because they don't align with our corporate values. This is an American company who said the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, does not align with Google's corporate values. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joseph Dunford, 3 months ago in testimony, sworn testimony, even though you don't have to ask a Marine to swear under oath, he said Google is actively helping the People's Liberation Army, China. Under oath, he said Google is aiding the Chinese army in their efforts against us. What did Jeff Bezos about 8 months ago? He was at an Air Force symposium in Washington. He sat on stage with a retired 4-star general, Air Force general, and this was around the Google flap. He said, we're an American company. We would love to work with the Pentagon. They align with our values. Come on, man. Tell me who Uncle Sammy's going to poke around more. Mark Zuckerberg, Google, or Amazon. There you go. So here's what we're going to look at. We can look, and I don't want to go super long today, but we could take a look at establishing base positions in Amazon. We can only pick one for sake of time, Amazon or XLY. So I'm going to put it up to a vote for you. So right now, and I didn't have a poll, Do you want to see the base position in XLY or Amazon? Go. Some say we're in a bear market and Amazon will go down in short term, somewhere near 1600, prefer becoming a long-term buy. What do you think? And I think it's this is going to be tough. It's almost 50-50. Wait, actually more XLY. And my prediction is by the time our base position, our first base position is getting ready to expire, Amazon's a $3,000 stock. So whether you get it at 1600 or 1754 tomorrow, it's a screaming buy. It's a $3,000 stock. Jeff Bezos has also said what? I'm not going to split the stock. It's going to be like Berkshire Hathaway someday. It's a $150,000 stock. We're going to laugh, right? Brady. So folks, we'll do XLY. Doing one contract on Amazon. Let's pull up the options chain. Take a look at this. If we hop in our joint strike fighter, we can fly all the way out to here and get bullish on Amazon all the way out to June of 2021. I'm making a prediction sitting right here, right now. Amazon's a $3,000 stock or above by June of 2021. Easily. Hell, there's a couple of people with year-end targets of 2,500. So, but I made this call a while ago. Amazon 3,000 by June of 2021. So, direct answer to your question, Ann. When you're thinking about a long-term, a 2-year bullish trade, we're not going to bicker and argue that, hey man, I could have gotten it $200 cheaper or whatever. In the scheme of things, getting in it now is the better idea. I get what you're saying, the whole bear market discussion. If we don't, we got this way short. This is a short covering rally here. We are running out of airspeed into this, and there was another short squeeze into the close. So we're running out of airspeed here. If we don't hold this 200-day moving average, if this trade war gets worse, I mean, the president's firing at Mexico. I haven't even brought up these lovely folks over in Iran. U.S. aircraft, my boat, the Abraham Lincoln. There is a threat that we go down to these December lows. It could be, it could get that ugly. Don't think that'll happen. I mean, the Federal Reserve surrendered this week and basically said, what? We're done. There's a Powell put underneath this market now. Jerome Powell placed a put underneath this market, and he's going to kiss us on our forehead and put a Band-Aid on our boo-boo if the market implodes. But I don't want to talk too much about Fed policy. That is absolutely dangerous. The market, he's painted into a corner now. I mean, the jobs number tomorrow morning is going to be really, really interesting. If it's a really good number, the market might go, hey, he isn't going to cut in June. I think the Fed should be raising interest rates. It's a separate discussion. But very long answer to your short question, but let's go ahead and get going. So XLY, looks like XLY won. So let's bring this up. It's the Consumer Discretionary ETF. I'm going to show you this tactic. It's called synthetic stock. What the hell does that mean? This, instead of going out and buying 1,000 shares and spending 114,000 or whatever it would be, we're going to spend a fraction of that, and this options tactic acts the same as the stock price. Well, what the hell does the term synthetic mean? Here's what it means, folks. Synthetic stock means you don't own the shares, so you don't get to vote. Last time I checked, you don't vote on ETFs. You also don't get a dividend. Really don't care about a dividend. So that's the only thing that's missing with synthetic stock is you don't get to vote, you don't get a dividend. I already told you with Amazon, first of all, Jeff Bezos and his wife own just about all the shares. You ain't getting a vote anyway, and he doesn't want to give you a dividend. God bless him. So here's how we do this tactic, okay? Like I said, we're going to hop in our F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. We're going to go to speed of light, and we're going to go out to Jan. In this case, they don't have June. The furthest we can go out is January of 2021. Right now, let's just use the market close. We are at 114, okay? 114. So we go out all the way in time, and we look at if you get options at all, folks, whiz, I get it. I want to be as bullish as I can all the way out to as long as I can. Well, what could you do if you're bullish on XLY? You could buy calls. Whiz, I understand that. I'm new to options, but I get if I buy calls, I'm bullish. You got it. Well, the converse is also true. You can sell a put And that is also a bullish tactic. So you ready for this? When you buy a call and sell a put with the same expiration and same strike, look at the picture. You get synthetic stock. That blue line, that dashed blue line right there, is the current price of XLY. You see that top line? That's long stock, and you see the line underneath it? That is our synthetic stock. It's the same thing. But instead of selling the wife and kids and second mortgage on the house to buy 1,000 shares, we're using options to be synthetically long the stock. Okay? So as it stands right now, synthetic stock for 10 contracts on XLY, you're coming out of pocket about $1,500. All right, Wiz, that sounds awesome. Well, what's not so awesome is this. You ready? Take a look at max potential loss. Holy shnikes, Wiz, 116 grand. Yeah, here's why. First of all, look at the second line. What's the probability of the the risk? Whenever you're long stock, folks, what's the risk? Bear Stearns, Enron, Pest. It can go to zero. But I just told you how there's 10, 12, 15 solid names in the XLY is not going to zero. Matter of fact, it's 0.00. I guarantee you there's about 20 zeros and then a 1 out here. That's how low but you can't pick up the phone and call the risk management department in E-Trade and go, hey man, come on, dude. Don't margin me or haircut me as if this thing's going to zero. Click. They're not even going to, it's all automated, folks. So how can we, you ready for this keyword? Protect ourselves in case something did happen that was ugly. Watch this. So right now we're being margined or haircut. The max risk is displayed as what? XLY is going to zero. Here's what I'm going to add to this trade. I'm going to add what we call a protective put. Actually, I call it two things. It's a protective put, but it's also a disaster put. I place the disaster put about 20 per, what would be a disaster if the XLY imploded 20? That's usually a bear market, right? Or the XLY is in correction territory if it goes down 20%. So why don't we buy a disaster put about, 20% underneath this? What's that? 11 and 11 is 22. What's that? 80? I don't know. Somebody do the math real quick. 80 or 85. Let's do that. You ready for this? Now look what happened. All right. Well, my price went up from $1,500 to $3,300, right? Duh. You're buying a put. You're buying some protection here. Now the risk to this old trade, to the previous trade, was what? 116 grand. Watch the wizardry I'm going to pull off. Now what's the max potential loss? Look at that. 37. Right? Look at the picture. Oh, is it 90? Thanks, man. It's long day trading. There you go. So that actually increases the price, right? The further the put's closer to the money, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. But now look at our risk. It actually went down from 30 whatever. Now we're down here at 28. So first learning point, you can play with your disaster put and move it around, and it will impact how much you come out of pocket. But this is a pretty good, so now on your screen is a long-term bullish trade on the XLY. Here's the last thing we can do with this trade. Let's take a look at the chart. 3-month chart is good. So look at this. There's holy trade war Batman. Here's the, oh my God, alphabet soup coming after these, and a nice recovery. This right here, this white line is the middle of a Keltner channel, and the 50-day moving average is up there at, what's that, 116-ish. Let's go out a couple weeks, and I'm actually going to do what's called, I'm going to sell an upside call right at that 50-day moving average. Look, last time we went through it, what did we do? We traded up around it, and it was resistance. So I think the 50-day moving average on XLY is going to be probably the next step for resistance if it keeps going up. I got to be honest with you, we're kind of running out of speed here. And look at the volume down here. Boom, it's literally stair-stepping lower. As something pops and the volume declines, it's running out of airspeed. It's at stall speed up here. So I think we're actually going to give some of this back. Let's go out Yeah, let's go out to next Friday. Let's go out to June 14. And look at this. We could sell, everybody see, let me grab my little, so you see the 115 strike down here? We could sell 10 of these upside calls and bring in what? About $600 between now and next Friday. Let's add that to the order ticket. You ready? Add option, sell 10 of next Friday. That's June 14th, 115 calls. What did I just do? I just brought in, what's that about? It was about what, $700. I just reduced from four. Well, let's just look at it again. Get rid of that. Add option. Sell the front month, June 14, 115 calls. There you go. Yep. About 700, $600. Wow. Right there. Sell 10 of next Friday's 115 calls. 41.20. That is what you'd come out of pocket to get into this trade. If by next Friday, XLY is trading below 115, great. You keep that premium. And then what do? We go out to the next week or the next month. We keep, it's almost like a wheel, folks. We keep, depending on the market conditions, selling upside calls and bringing in money. So there's three ways with our solo Amazon service that you make money in Amazon or the XLY. What do? One, we want to make money on what? The stock or the ETF going up. Amazon or XLY goes up. Our base position makes money. How else can we make money trading in this single name? We can trade front month spreads. Right now, I'd probably sell a bear call spread out the next Friday on XLY. Looks like we're running out of airspeed, a lot of volatility. I think the president still, just to make the point, does the Mexican tariffs on Monday, whatever. So we're making money with the underlying going up. We're making money with trading spreads in the front month. And then number three, we're selling calls. So look at this, folks. So this is just in one name what you can be doing. You could be very busy just in this one name. Stocks going up or ETFs going up, we're making money. Even if the stock is level or going down, so let's say Amazon or XLY decides to take a break and it ain't going up or it's going down. We're going to be trading spreads and we're going to be selling calls. Amazon XLY starts going up again. Okay, well, number one's back into effect. Yay. So as you can see, you can be very busy just in this one name. You bet. I'll put the trade back up on the screen. Yep. On your screen, this is going to be a lot of words, but listen to it and I'll say it slowly. On your screen right now is a tactic that we call a synthetic covered call with a protective put. That's exactly what's on the screen. Synthetic stock with a synthetic covered call with a protective put. Isn't that awesome? Really, really awesome trade. So this establishes our base position. This is Omaha Beach, man. We've stormed XLY, and now we have a beachhead. We have our foot in the sand in XLY, and now for the next 2 years, whatever it is, we're trading the heck out of this thing. Up, down, or sideways. We had a good iron condor a couple weeks ago in XLY. We've had bear call spreads. We're doing some great work in these names. And my base position, when we started this service is it's like 2 months old, man. This is one of our most popular services. Where'd I get into my base position? Right about there, 1920, and then this happens. I don't care. We've been making money on Amazon on short. And take a look at this. Well, you know what? Let me grab a screenshot of this in case I want to put this like in a replay email. Hang on one second. And this is just like a live trade brief. Obviously, the market's closed right now, but if we were doing every Monday at 3 o'clock is when we do solo Amazon, XLY, I would stop. I'd go over to our broadcaster. I'd send out a text alert and an email alert. So, and if you could, a lot of people work. 85% of our members work. They watch the replay. Kids go to bed or over the weekend. You get a text and email the second that we open our new position. Okay. So what I was going to say is my base position in Amazon, even though it was getting pounded and red, it's now green, right? And it's one contract. Let's take a look at Amazon's chart. You know, same type of thing. Look at this. Massive volume on Monday. A little less, boom. Look at this. Today's volume, folks. Look at today's volume compared with average volume, man. Nothing. This tells you that this was a short, look at this. This was a short squeeze, and short squeezes take about 3 days to unwind. We could go out one contract on Amazon, maybe, out the next Friday. I'd probably 1,800. Amazon likes, let's see if there's any premium in next Friday's 1,800 calls. Sell one of the, let's go up to 1,800. Look at that. You would bring in $790 potentially. And that's $50, that's $46 away. So we're actually down after hours. So this is a solid, and I have folks in my private coaching service that have 2, 3, 5 contracts in Amazon. That's some good, you establish a nice, let's say you're Wiz out the next Friday. I'm bearish, man. I think you're right. I don't think we make it back up to this 50-day moving average on the S&P 500, and we're going to stall back down here. Well, Amazon's going to stall and head back down most likely with everybody else. What if I sold it like maybe the 1775, the year before independence, out the next Friday? 1775. Let's see what that one would be. $1,600. So this is why, even though it doesn't sound like much, like, dude, I got one contract in Amazon. That's ginormous. One contract in Amazon, synthetic stock, will run you about 19 grand right now. Whoa, that's a lot. But that's what we're talking about, folks. You could just trade that one name. I have a bunch of people who've told me, they're like, man, I've cleaned up my cockpit. I got rid of that cannabis stock I didn't even know that somebody told me to buy, and this and that. I've simplified, right? As I get older in life, that's what I try and do too. I kind of simplify things. How do you battle complexity with simplicity? Okay, so look at this. Between now and next Friday, if you sold the 1775s, one contract, it's $1,600. Imagine doing that every week for 52 trading weeks. Do the math. And that's just making money on the short calls. That's not even including a bull put spread, the bear call spreads, iron condors, or Amazon going up over time. It's guys, I'm very passionate about this. This would make a lot of sense, I guarantee you, for a lot of people in this room. Simplify your trading. Like I said, there's out of the hundreds of people in this room right now, there's a lot of people probably going, you know what? I probably do need to simplify. I have folks that are just doing Amazon. I still like to diversify a little bit. Do the XLY. Okay, you bet. That's whoever just asked that is you're reading my mind. Because I've taken my daughter cheerleading. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we do at Top Gun Options. We do live trade briefs Monday through Thursday, we don't do anything on Friday because that's I work more on Fridays than I do with these one briefs each day because it's like 5 live trade briefs on Friday. I do all my coaching on Fridays, but this is called Solo Amazon. Okay, all those together we charge about $2,000 for, but Solo Amazon is our newest live trade brief here at Top Gun Options. Each one of those other trade briefs are about $167 a month. Each one of those, but this one, $97 a month, folks. That's it. I went out and dinner in Fort Lauderdale last night. That was a bottle of wine, man. $97 a month. So here's where you need to go. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo. And yep, Mary, I will put it in the chat box right now. But let me kind of give you the brief on what you're. Looks like people are already running. Let me give you a brief here real quick about what everything you get. But yeah, for the folks that are ready to go, there it is. It's in there, and I'll put it in the chat box right now. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo. And no, not because of Han Solo. Nope, and the Death Star. But like I said, it's our newest live trade brief. It's our most popular. It's the least expensive service that we have here at Top Gun Options because it's less work for me. I'm just trading in one name, Amazon and XLY. Wiz, I can't attend, man. I work every Monday at 3 o'clock. Okay, well, I told you, you will get time-sensitive text alerts. When we are in a brief, there it is. There's my cell phone. Took a screenshot of a CSX trade the other day. It comes immediately. And the email comes immediately too. I have Gmail, the text, sometimes the email, I get the email quicker than I get the text alert. It takes about 0.03 seconds. You get this, even if you can't attend the brief, okay? So not only do you get the text and email alerts, the replay, as soon as we get done the brief, I close the room, and it takes about, I don't know, about 30 minutes for the video to render, and I post the replay on the member page so you can watch the replay. This is a screenshot. That's the top half of the email. This is when I sent out a Brazil trade, and then so you get screenshots of the trade. Here's the individual legs up at the top. There's the risk, max potential risk, max potential profit, all that stuff. So the email and the text fire simultaneously, and you can get those right on your cell phone. So whoever just asked that, Abhay, yes, this is, folks, it's called Solo Amazon for a reason. All those other services are called Full Throttle. This is Solo Amazon, so whoever just asked that, it's a completely separate service. It is not part of Full Throttle. Tell you what, for today, I'm going to give you, these are yours to keep, primary, intermediate, and advanced manuals. This is, and thank you, United States Navy, so I could steal this. I went through primary, intermediate, and advanced flight training and got my wings. Primary options. This is volatility. This is a market. These are calls. These are puts. These are tactics. These are spreads. These are advanced tactics. These manuals are awesome. Guess what? You go to our homepage to buy these individually. It's $197. I'm going to throw those in for absolutely free. So let me get this straight, Wiz. It's $97 for a month, and you're giving me $197 worth of manuals. If you can't see that you just made $100, you're not going to be a good trader. Seriously. So those sell on our site for $197, and you're going to get 90. Yeah, do the math, folks. There's $100 already essentially in your pocket for Solo Amazon. Yep, the link is right there. It's in the chat box. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo. Pretty easy to remember. Here's what you get. Access to the weekly trade brief. Amazon and XLY. That's what we live in. That's it, man. Clean up your cockpit. Text and email alerts. You get access to our online forum. It's called the Ready Room. The Ready Room of a fighter squadron was the living room, right? I learned more about flying and fighting the Hornet in the Ready Room than I did from a manual or a book. That's where you can interact with me, your fellow members, and all that stuff. Access to that, and you also get the 3 skill-based manuals, $197 worth of manuals just for signing up for $97. Take a look at Greg. Greg, I think I saw you in here earlier. Look at this, folks. You got to check this stuff out. I opened my January 2021 long call diagonal on Amazon on March 8th when the 80 Delta calls were on sale for $2,200 off. I am up 31%, $14,708 in 8 trading days, folks. Greg is doing awesome work. Okay. David got out yesterday as well for 72% profit, but my Jan 21 is up $40,000 in 2 days. 2 days, folks. That's the power. It's only one contract. That's the power of having one contract in Amazon, man. Scotty, Amazon up 11 grand on one contract. Thanks for the idea. Kevin, Amazon synthetic stock. I'm late to the party, but I'm up 200%. I paid 8 grand. The trade's now at 24. Kevin, he's a Canuck up to the north. Dennis, $7,240 closing out your volatility in Amazon trades today. Thanks, Wiz. You're welcome. Greg, his 2020 long call diagonals, 16 grand last week. Thomas, 10 grand. Folks, this is the power of even having one contract in Amazon. It's the law of large numbers. Amazon goes up a lot, it's a lot of movement. Amazon goes down a lot, it's a lot of movement. But remember, folks, you only do synthetic stock on what? Names that you think are going to move up and to the right over the next couple of years. If you don't think Amazon is going to move up and to the right in the next couple of years, don't do it. Do the XLY. I'm telling you, folks, it's a $3,000 stock. Just the things that they're doing. They're going to be making drone deliveries. They're getting rid of humans. The best human who needs to eat, go to the bathroom, take a break, can only box 200. That's their best. They're getting rid of that dude, and they're putting in a machine that can do 600 to 700. And then they're making that dude to get the 10 grand and 3 months worth of pay. Go be a delivery driver for them. It's brilliant. It's just. So I think it's a $3,000 stock, folks. It's our newest live trade brief. It's actually our most popular, but based on what happened this week with the whole FTC and it pulling back here, it's a steal. Amazon to me is a steal down here. I know somebody asked earlier about could we see 1,600? Sure, we can see 1,600. We're going to see 1,700 on the way back up again, or 1,750, whatever we closed at. Limited membership. We top all of our services out at 200. so we can try and stay in go to training. Right now we're in go to webinar since we have way more than 200 people in here. So we try to do our briefs, membership briefs, and go to training so you guys can chat and see each other. We have people that have been friends for 10 years. They've met through TGO. We do live events and stuff like that. So right now we're in go to webinar, but we do limit our membership so we can all chat back and forth in the live trade briefs. $97 a month, folks. And I'm going to tell you, man, we'll give you a 25% discount. $897 a year, 25% discount. And whoever just asked that, yeah, you bet. You can upgrade, man. You can try this out for a couple months and give us a call and say, you know what, I'm ready to save money and upgrade into an annual. I'd love for you to stay in a month to month. It doesn't make sense. That's why we do the annual for folks to help you out and save some money. So go.topgunoptions.com/solo. Okay. $197 bonus today. Manuals. Primary, intermediate, advanced. Those things are awesome. I reread these sometimes, man. I'm like, somebody, you know what? I was going to post that on this screen. I forgot about it. But one of our recent members said, hey, man, you don't play these up enough. These things are worth their weight in gold. I need to crack these open again every once in a while, to be honest with you. Like the chapter on volatility. I'm like, man, that is some good stuff. Solo Amazon, folks, brand new live trade brief. It ain't 167. It's only 97. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo. Now let me. We got about 4 minutes left. Let me answer as many of these. This is the other reason why we keep our stuff under 200 is because there's phenomenal, great questions in here, and I can't stand as an instructor leaving a room with people's hands in the air. So we hang out as long as people got questions. Brady. Prediction of XLY when Amazon is at 3,000. It'll be at 300, Brady. Easily. Chris, it is being recorded. You bet. Absolutely. Let me scroll up here. In solo Amazon, do you also hedge with VXX or just Amazon? No, Brady, when you think about it, when every position that we do in solo Amazon is hedged in and of itself, whether it's synthetic stock, a spread, everything's hedged if you're trading options the right way. We don't do anything naked and naked calls, naked puts, no naked anything with this. So I don't. In our other portfolios, we trade VXX and volatility and stuff like that, Brady, but not in solo Amazon. We really don't need to. So let me scroll up here. Ron, it looks like you left, so I'm not going to answer that question. Good stuff. Great stuff. Awesome. You're welcome. Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's the 890, whatever it is, 897. That's a 25% discount. That's for the annual membership. Let me show you the page here. So this is the page right here. You can click Solo Amazon month to month right there, or just click this button and it says Solo Amazon annual membership. $897 a year. That's 25% discount. Folks, the full throttle training we do is nearly $3,000. Half of that's about $2,000. We have if you want access to everything, you can shoot us an email. But if you want to get your kind of foot in the door and see what we do here at Top Gun Options, or you're at least interested in it, right? It's an intriguing concept. You've been told your whole investing career, don't put your eggs in one basket. You must diversify. That's wrong. If it's the right name, Amazon or XLY, you should target all of your firepower in that. Folks, you're busy. I'm busy. I'm going to run my daughter to cheerleading practice here in a little bit. Simplify. Clean up your cockpit, man. Let me ask you before we head out here. You ready? This is what jet? 85% of you said, what would you rather fly? The F-35, man. 2 flat panel displays, and you got Amazon and XLY in your F-35 in your trading cockpit, okay? Go.topgunoptions.com/solo. Ellis, absolutely, we take PayPal. You bet, man. Charles, you absolutely can trade. Charles, you can absolutely trade Amazon intraday. We don't in this service. We don't. I don't day trade. I do not want to sit here for 8 hours a day and follow tick by tick and stuff like that. But Charles, it is a great stock for intraday trading. The thing moves. You saw some of your fellow members there. Hey, man, I made in the past 8 trading days. What was it, whatever that was, 14 grand or something like that. Amazon's a mover. So intraday trading of Amazon definitely possible. We just don't do it in this service. Okay, little longer term stuff. You bet, Charles. Steven, glad to hear you don't trade naked. Scary sight. Hey, man, I don't know if I have pants on, and neither do you. You're welcome. Absolutely. No, we have fun, guys. I'm absolutely passionate about doing this. I was a you, man. Actually, before Al Gore invented the internet, I was driving to the library on base to check out books on options trading. I had to do all this stuff, man. I built Top Gun options for me, for you, meaning I was one of you, man. I put the ladder down. I already did my time. I got mine, so to speak. That's the other thing I hated about Wall Street folks. They push their own mother in front of a bus to make $1, and they also pulled the ladder up. They make it. I got mine. Me, in the military, well, first of all, I was raised differently, and in the military as an officer, you're taught to put the ladder down, man. You make it to a higher rank, you get to go to Top Gun, you come back, you spread the wealth, you put the ladder down. This is what I do here. So get into this as a good, cost-effective entry to see what we do here at Top Gun Options and see if it's right for you. If cleaning up your cockpit and going from 33 names to 1 or 2 is a good thing to do. I think it's a phenomenal idea, and I'll leave it at that. Forrest Gump. That's all I have to say about that. Look at that. What's that? 1 minute over? 2 minutes over. Unfortunately, that means at the next live event, if you were in this brief, I have to buy you a round of drinks for going over by. No, that was 1 minute. 1 minute over. All right, so head to go.topgunoptions.com/solo, get airborne into our solo Amazon service, get into that Joint Strike Fighter. I will see you as soon as you sign up, and my phone's buzzing, which means a lot of you are signing up. Once you get your username and password, go to the solo Amazon member page and go watch the replay from Monday. Go watch the replay from last week. Take a look at the trades. Take a look at the, let me just show you that. Somebody just asked. Yeah, duh. Now I really am going to owe you. Should have showed you that to begin with. Let me show you the solo Amazon member page because you can look at the current positions we have and watch the replay. The last session we did was obviously on Monday. So underneath member content, if all you have is solo Amazon, that's the only thing that's going to show on your drop down. Solo Amazon. Technician Fang is dead money. There you go. So you can look at our 3 June solo Amazon, new short calls and closing trades. Solo Amazon, new Amazon, and XLY spreads, short calls. So these are all the posts. So what you do is you just click on an individual post right here. 3 June solo Amazon, new short calls and closing trades. There's the short calls we put on Monday. Scroll down all the way down here to the bottom and look, there's the replay. Solo replay. So you can watch Monday's brief. Okay. Monday is a critical brief to watch. As soon as you become a member, go watch Monday's brief. Why? We had the tech implosion on Monday, man. Right? Looked pretty bleak. What did I say? It ain't going to be bleak for Amazon. They're going to whistle past the graveyard as Facebook and Google and Twitter get absolutely obliterated. Okay, so just wanted to show you the member page. You got homework to do over the weekend. Look at the existing positions, watch the videos, start reading those manuals too. Those things are literally, they're worth their weight in gold. $197 for those, but you get them for free for signing up for solo Amazon. Okay, awesome. Yep, thank you. You're welcome. Absolutely. I'm glad you learned a lot. Even if you don't get on board, hopefully at least I provided some useful information for you. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. Go Blues. I'll see you on Monday at 3 o'clock for solo Amazon. Welcome aboard to all of our new members. God bless. I'll talk to you guys later and have a good